Hello, and welcome to For Better or Worse, a movie and TV podcast, the podcast where a married couple reviews movies and TV. If you like us.
Or if you don't.
Yeah, if you don't, great. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok, and subscribe to us on YouTube, FBOW Podcast. That way you get to follow all of our fun things that we do, the shorts that we post that I have to get you.
Nailing that intro.
Nailing it. Just show us your support, share us.
We review movies and stuff.
Yeah.
We're married.
We're still trying to get to 100 subscribers. We're going to do it.
We're getting there.
We're so close. Are we at 80 yet?
Nope.
Great.
But I'm Gino.
And I'm Toby.
And today, this is your part. Go ahead.
You were doing a good job, though. And today we're going to be talking about Dopesick on Hulu.
All right. Since there's not really a show you can spoil because it's real life, it's good. For better. Go watch it. Drugs.
Yeah.
Bad. Sackler's bad, allegedly. Please don't sue us. So for me, it's definitely for better. Toby?
For better. I want to talk about it.
All right, spoilers for real life. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about with this show, so for those who didn't watch it, what are you doing?
Please.
What are you on, drugs?
Listen, for those of you who didn't watch it, it came out in 2021. Like, we are those people. We didn't watch it.
I was told to watch this by my uncle, and then I didn't.
Recently.
Then,
no, but like, how long ago did he even watch it?
Like before the new year.
Okay, well, this came out in 2021.
We're really timely here on Fabao Podcast, for better or worse.
Well, the reason I brought it up, so your uncle told you to watch it like weeks ago, and I listened to...
I would say months, but okay.
Months, great. And I listened to a podcast that brought this up, and I was okay.
No one listens to
No one listens to podcast. I mean, like...
No one listens to our podcast.
No one listens to our podcast. Again, I checked Apple reviews. We still only have 5 reviews. We're at 8 reviews.
That's 5 more than we had.
No, we're at 8 reviews, 5 stars. So, like, go in there, give us
the stars. 5 of them.
5
anyway,
of them,
back
please.
to the review.
So,
like and subscribe.
Again, we are not better than any of you.
We are.
We are definitely not.
Okay, well, I mean, like, each have their own opinion.
Right, okay. We're better than you.
Okay, Toby, oh my God. Why would you say that? It's mean when you say it, but it's okay when I say it.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so it came out in 2021. It is technically old, but I think now it's also more widely available. It's on Hulu. So.
Yeah, it's probably always on Hulu, though, because Hulu is pretty up to date on stuff.
Maybe. It is a docuseries.
This runs the streak of every time we watch some sort of drama series on Hulu, it's good. It's like The Bear, which I guess was comedy. He won best comedy actor, which I think is stupid. It's like there's any joke, it's comedy. Whatever. The Bear, The Patient, and now this. Like, Hulu is just like killing it.
Doing a great job with choosing their dramas.
Is getting into our lives, even when they're not getting into our lives, because Disney is the majority owner of Hulu. So those bastards. Anyway, so I really want to talk about the standout performances here, and I want to see if I'm missing anybody that you thought was really good.
Probably.
Like everybody. There's no one who's bad. I think I should throw that right now.
Yes,
everyone's good.
Everybody's good.
But like specifically Michael Keaton is really good. Because Michael Keaton, you could put Michael Keaton reading a phone book.
I'll listen.
And I'll listen to it. And he'll do a great job.
Mm-hmm.
Like he plays this kind of like, you said he was like an amalgamation of every country doctor.
Not every, but like a lot. So like so I was inspired after watching Dopesick to then go out and purchase.
To purchase Oxycontin and do drugs.
I just wanted to see
what it was like. I mean, it's got to be good. I mean, like based on this show,
right?
Oxycontin's got to feel
feeling,
great,
right? But the dope sickness after really seems like
the dead is bad. The dead,
also the dead part.
Yeah.
But like, no, I was inspired to get the book that this is based on. But after that, so like,
that was like 20 minutes ago.
I know.
I bought it today.
I'm already like 50% in. 15.
What?
15. I'm not that fast. There's almost 400 pages.
It's like Superman reading.
Right. But like, I think really I Googled it and it was like, he's like a mix of a bunch of doctors. And so while I'm reading it, there's like one doctor in particular who like moved to Appalachia to, because he really wanted to help out people that, couldn't afford it and like do his like help, like I don't know, just be a good person,
be a primary care physician in a place that needed it.
Exactly. And so he was just he like again like they talk about delivering babies.
Was there a
like,
real doctor who got like hooked on?
I haven't gotten that far.
Oh, okay, because like Michael Keaton's character starts off as like I don't even know is like if you're the only doctor in a county, like he does everything. He does babies. He does everything.
He does everything. The
so
way
I said primary care physician, but he's like only care physician.
Right. So like
physician.
he's like also the OBGYN.
Yeah, like he does all the which like
the surgeries. He's a surgeon.
Like if that's what you're into, it sounds great. And like everyone loves this guy. He's the town doctor. And he basically gets manipulated by this salesman played by that weird looking guy who's going to be in Guardians 3.
Will Poulter.
Will Poulter, who like, he's such a weird looking dude, but he's obviously very handsome.
He like is.
It's like, I mean, it's like good for him.
He looks like a.
Because he's very conventionally handsome,
if I could
but also not. Go ahead.
If I could compare him to something, I feel like he looks like a vampire.
He would play a good vampire.
Yeah, he'd be like a very attractive vampire. Like he has very strong eyebrows.
Yeah, he's gonna be
a vampire in the Disney movies.
No, he's gonna be.
Do I have to look it up?
In Guardians, he's gonna be like a gold. He's gonna be gold. Like he's gonna be like Adam Warlock. That's who he's playing. He's playing Adam Warlock. Anyway, so like he plays this salesman who works for Purdue Pharma, the company that created OxyContin, and basically through his sales tactics and whatever, kind of unwittingly manipulates the doctor in prescribing this drug that even the salesman doesn't really know is bad.
Which
to, like,
is
all his patients.
Very common. So this was happening, as per the book, it was happening like everywhere. They were encouraged to go out and like essentially bribe doctors to like sell their drug. But this isn't, it's not an uncommon practice for all pharmaceuticals. Like all pharmaceuticals do it. Then the way the book talks about the doctor that was like going against it was like, okay, but like nobody is robbing a pharmacy for blood medication. You know what I mean?
No one's robbing a pharmacy for like, I don't know, like
they said like high blood pressure medicine.
You can tell we don't take enough drugs. We have no names to throw out there.
Literally, I was talking about this with my grandma today. She's like, "Are you on medication?" I was like, "No, grandma."
Yeah, no one's robbing the. Here we go. No one's robbing the pharmacy for my psoriasis cream.
Right. So like that's the difference, is that you're pushing this drug that is addictive, while one of the things that they're saying is that it's not addictive. Like less than 1% of people become addicted to OxyContin.
Which was a lot. Can we talk about how, before we go back to how good Michael Keaton is?
Yeah.
I was watching this documentary. We were in the second episode, and probably like 10 or 15 minutes in, I was like, this is probably Reagan's fault. Because it's like in the 90s.
So annoying.
It takes place in the 90s. It's about government deregulation. Like the federal government like approved something that it wouldn't normally approve. I'm like, this sounds like it's Reagan's fault. And sure enough, I think like episode 3,
one of the episodes you were watching
are with the FDA, and they're like, why was this approved? And they're like, oh, well, Reagan deregulated the FDA. I was like, aha.
Right. Honestly, Gino.
It's Reagan's fault.
Gino, like, said a lot of the lines before they were going to happen, which was weird. One of them.
I mean, I take no credit for the Reagan thing, because pretty much anything in America that's bad, you got like a 50-50 shot of blaming it on Reagan, and you'll probably get it right.
Reagan or?
I mean, like mostly Reagan.
Mostly Reagan. I don't know this. I wasn't aware of like politics.
Like,
enough,
yeah, exactly. So like, especially if it's in the 90s, which is when we grew up. Thanks, Reagan.
You should play music. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Really would have hated getting that better lifestyle as a kid.
Yeah, we were actually talking about that the other day. About like, man, our grandparents.
They had everything. They were born after World War II. They had the New Deal. They had everything.
Yep.
Sorry, we don't talk about politics on this podcast.
Sorry. Strictly drugs.
Strictly drugs. That's all we talk about. Welcome to Fadao for drugs or worse.
Oh, good. Drugs.
Anyway, so what I really liked about Michael Keaton's performance is, one, his gravelly voice. If Michael Keaton smokes cigarettes, I guess I have to smoke cigarettes because I want his voice. Don't smoke cigarettes. They're bad. OxyContin, apparently totally fine. Cigarettes, bad.
No, also bad.
Also bad? They're both bad? Sorry, they're both bad. Don't do either of them. So Michael Keaton's voice sounds great, but I think what was really good about Michael Keaton, so the doctor eventually gets a broken rib. He's in a car accident. So he gets prescribed OxyContin. And, you know, he's been given to his patients. Like, whatever. And then, like, the next episode, he's, like, straight addicted to OxyContin. He's taking it from his patients. He's writing himself fake.
Right.
Prescriptions.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know if you noticed this, Toby, but I don't know if this was the makeup artist or what, but like you could tell on his face.
Yes.
Okay, it was the makeup artist then. Michael Keaton, you're a crappy actor. It was the makeup
No,
artist.
of course it was him too, but like
you could tell, like he was so good at being like, I'm on drugs, I'm not on drugs. I'm on drugs, I'm not on drugs.
yes.
Yeah. Good acting.
No, good acting.
Or good makeup.
Both, because you need, it's like if you go back in time. Now, this show, all right, I'll get to that in a second. But like, yes, you could tell with all the characters essentially, like when they were on drugs and when they weren't because of the makeup, but also like, it's implied, right? You're on this medication. It's all you can think about. You're not taking care of yourself. You're not eating correctly. You're not bathing properly. Like there's all you're
Sounds like
disheveled.
you're just quoting the book that you read, the 15% of that book you read this morning.
No, they didn't mention this.
Oh.
This is just from like life experience, I guess. Of just like, I don't know.
Of all the drugs you've done?
No, I'm just like watching TV, I guess, and movies. Which is why I'm reading the book, because I literally know nothing. Like, again, this happened in the 90s. I was born in 89. You were born in 90. So, like, when this drug came out in 96, we were babies. Like, we didn't know anything about it.
No.
We grew up with,
Although
like,
I had
Dare.
a sore tooth, and then all of a sudden, I remember taking a pill with a 20 on it, and it went away.
Well,
Thanks.
So, I'm going to talk about something.
We're talking about the actors, Toby. The actors.
Sorry. I'm bopping around. I'm bopping
So-
around because I liked it so much.
I think Michael Keaton's great, but I think the greatest actor in this show, who plays one of the most horrible villains in all of television history, Michael Stuhlbarg. It's with an A, not an E, so Stuhlbarg.
Good one.
Who is the grumpy doctor from Doctor Strange, who's like not as good at being a doctor as Doctor Strange, and he messes up his hands. And they're at the funeral, and he's like,
Better known in
he's
this
at the
role.
wedding. He's at the wedding, and he's like, my cat's died because you snapped everyone back.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway,
Also, my brother.
he plays real life human Richard Sackler, who allegedly, please don't sue us, is a horrible, horrible person, terrible villain, and he plays them with this Voldemort kind of whispery voice. And he talks like this: make sure you sell as much of this to your doctors as you possibly can.
Honestly,
If that's Richard Sackler's real voice,
bravo.
yeah.
Because we didn't look it up,
No, I want to know as little about the Sackler family as I can,
right?
because they just sound like horrible, horrible people.
Awful people
Allegedly.
that just want money.
Allegedly.
Okay. I feel like
Listen, no one listens to the podcast. They'll be the first, and they'll sue us. So all of this is as far as
Please
I know,
don't sue
Richard
us.
Sackler is a fictional character, and this is all pretend,
okay, you do know though. He's not fictional.
allegedly.
Allegedly. Listen.
We can't afford lawyers, Toby. So yes, as far as I know, they're fictional characters. I'm winking at the microphone.
I feel like it can't be that
for the
serious.
audio podcast people. Can you hear the wink?
Ew, gross. I'm disgusted. Nope, I'm out. I'm gonna leave now.
Anyway, he's just it's the voice. It's like
it's such a good voice.
blatant disregard for science.
Well, and then one of his lines is really great, where like he's very concerned. His like family's gonna go on a vacation. She's like, the kids were really looking forward to it, and
There's
like
a lot
come and
of
have
heat
fun.
right now. We can't go on this vacation.
Okay. Well, now do the line where he was like, maybe I don't feel joy.
Maybe I don't feel joy.
Like, what
Harry
a good
Potter.
line.
Ever since I was in Hogwarts.
It's very, very Voldemort. And Gino didn't come up with that. I did.
But I came up with the voice.
I mean,
I guess
came up
Richard
with
Sackler came up with the voice because it's his voice,
Right.
probably.
So good though. But like, what? And every time the camera would like have him be the center, the camera was like a little angled down on him, so like it did look like very evil. Just like we get it. Like, oh, it was so good. Every time the Sackler family got together, even the first scene, I don't know if you watched
They're
them.
like an arguing like family at dinner,
But they're
also
rich
like
enough to bring
horrible,
lawyers?
evil people. Yeah, they bring lawyers
which
to
is
their dinner.
so funny.
Yeah, they don't really explain it, but it's clear that like one brother
Right.
and another brother, it's like a family-owned company, Purdue Pharma, and like they both separately own it, and then their families get money from it.
Well, one person's the president,
There's
right?
A shares and there's B shares.
Right. And so one of the brothers is president and the other one has a bunch of
And
shares.
Richard just like works for them.
Right. But apparently he seems to be like very, like this is his job. And then I think Richard's brother is also involved. The cousin,
Satan.
yeah, we'll just call him Satan.
Also Satan.
Also
like separate.
Satan's involved.
That's
Satan,
the only explanation I can think of for all this.
right? Satan's just hanging out underneath the table. Just
The devil.
like just I'm very curious how they got that scene. Like, is it true? Like, this is what I'm hoping is if it's in the book. I clearly haven't gotten up to it. I'm like on chapter 3. So when they go into the Sackler family and all of this, I'm like, I want to know. Like,
I want to know. I mean, it happened in real life. You can just like look at the news.
No, but like they're not going to say they were all in a room together,
Sure.
sitting with their separate families.
Right.
Just like
all right.
good
So
stuff.
yeah, Michael Stahlberg, amazing villain. I thought that the girl that played Betsy, Caitlin Dever,
such a good job.
like coal miner, injures her back.
You
Gets
calling
like
her Catelyn? I'm sorry, we had Game of
Catelyn
Thrones.
Stark. Caitlin. Sorry about that. No, I'm not. Caitlin Dever. That's your new name. She like injures her back and then gets addicted to Oxycontin and then she starts doing heroin and then it's like and then she dies.
Ugh, which is just, and it's just such a sad story because you know it's gonna happen. And like she's gay and she tells her mom and her parents are very religious and ignore her.
We were like yelling at the TV when the mom was like, "This is my fault." I'm like, "No, it's not your fault. It's the drug's fault."
Right,
like,
because she wasn't
It's a horrible addictive drug.
Yes, like it definitely sucks that you like ignored your daughter and just like kind of made her feel this way. But like
she injured her back and was prescribed a pain medication. Like you're a horrible person for not accepting your daughter for being a lesbian. But that's not what caused her to be a drug addict in this story. She injured her back and got a horrible drug.
And then changed her brain chemistry. Now, what I want to hear from is people who did not get addicted to Oxycontin, right? Because like that...
we know people who have taken Oxycontin and have not gotten addicted.
Not Oxycontin.
Yes.
Who?
I'm not saying them out loud, but like from surgeries and whatnot.
Right, but I wanted them to be like part of the story because I want to know what's different.
I want to know.
I know. I just like, I feel like a lot of the times when I read a book like this, I think about like DBQ stuff, right? Where you
I want the other side of the story.
I do, but you always have to think about whose point of view is missing. And like they keep saying there are all these people out there that don't get addicted. The drug is for their pain, not for the addicts. And I know that people get addicted. They're not like addicts coming in, like it changes the brain chemistry.
Addicts, yeah.
Right. But I want to hear from the people who didn't change their brain chemistry and they could like easily wean off of it.
The thing is, most of the people we know who have been prescribed Oxycontin already know it's really bad. So the doctor will, and the pharmacist will probably much more serious about like,
yeah, but there's other versions of it. Like when I got my wisdom teeth out, I was given something. I know it wasn't. I thought it was oxycodone.
Is oxycodone the name of the drug, and then Oxycontin is the brand name that they use?
I don't know.
But yeah, most people I know who have taken it, they like take one or two, they don't like how it feels, and they stop taking it.
And for me, I remember I was like,
or it like messes them up.
It didn't. Yeah, it was just like, look, like I don't know. I like took it for a couple days, and I was like,
you beat addiction, Toby. Good job. Obviously, not everything is addicting to everybody, right? You could have a cigarette and never be addicted your entire life.
I guess that's true.
Some people have one cigarette and that's it. Boom. So like, just because of some people, even a majority of people, are not addicted to something when they take it, doesn't mean it is not horribly addictive.
No, of course not. Of course not. But like those are the testimonies that I wanted to hear from.
Yes, that's who the Sacklers were looking for. They're like, oh, we gotta find.
Yeah.
Way to both sides this, Tobes. Good job.
Thank you.
No, bad. That's a insult.
I don't think this is a bad both sides.
Well, according to the Sacklers, it was less than 1%.
Which is incorrect.
What was the actual percent?
I don't know. I didn't do it.
Rosario Dawson, she plays like a DEA agent, which is crazy that the DEA was involved in this because it was a legal drug. It's like, that's crazy. But I guess the DEA has the diversion branch that like specifically focuses on prescription drugs that like get diverted to like illegalness. So like, that's what she was.
Rosario Dawson. Yeah.
Yes.
But not originally. And then she got promoted.
Right. Exactly.
And then she was just a biatch.
Yeah.
Just
Peter Sarsgaard, not Skarsgård.
Yeah, no.
Sarsgaard. Very good. The lawyers are good. Everyone's good.
Everyone's so good. I loved the dynamic between the lawyers. You could also tell over time how tired, like the Peter Sarsgaard's lawyer character just gets so tired
because they're
invested.
They're doing this case for like years,
2002 to 2006.
Yeah, just to like try to find something illegal the Sacklers were doing. And Yeah.
Like
Took a
that's
long time.
That is a long time. Like his kids are growing up. He doesn't like get to be there.
Yeah. Did you like all the shout outs to all the main characters or all the side characters from the Trump election were in this?
Every time we recognize
Shout
the
out
name,
to season 2, Trump election, where all these side characters are involved.
Oh my God! If you guys heard, you had James Comey thrown
shout
in there.
out in the
Chris
FBI.
Christie's name's on there.
Chris Christie is like,
He's
there's
a
like
DA.
at some point there's like a leak
U.S. attorney
of U.S.
list.
attorneys that are going to get fired, and then they don't get fired. But on the list is Chris Christie.
Well, maybe they don't. I don't know if he did.
He's not in it though.
No, but
he
I was
shouted
like,
out.
Chris Christie.
The
biggest surprise.
Yeah, Rudy Giuliani. It was a lawyer for Purdue Pharma. Like that, I didn't know that.
How'd
This
that
was
make you feel?
2002. So like,
Yeah.
Okay, 9/11 happened in 2001, right? He is the guy. He is the man, right? He could have slapped your grandma in the face after 9/11, and you would have been like, "Thank you, sir.
Right.
Thank you for serving
She
your
needed
country.
it.
She deserved it.
Right.
Keep fighting the terrorists." Even as of 2002, he was already selling out. He started his law firm and then becoming the lawyer for Purdue Pharma. So, like, man, that was
Just
real quick.
Bad person.
Being a terrible person.
So that was like a big shock, and we're from New York, so like
We know.
we know, and it's just that was
Like,
wild.
Rudy Giuliani could show up anywhere, even before 9/11, but especially after 9/11. And it was like a huge deal. I remember my dad, I don't know if this was before or after 9/11, but my dad went to like the first game, or maybe we all did. We all went, I think, to the first game of what the Brooklyn Cyclones used to be, the Queens Kings. And they played on the St. John's campus at a new baseball field.
Okay.
So it was in Queens. I think he was the mayor already. And he showed up and it was like oh my God, Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah, people really liked him.
And I don't, again, that might have been before 9/11. But even as of 2002, like you're selling out to a pharma company.
Oh my God.
That's like selling.
Right. And like going up to the DEA and
Trying to charm his way.
they do a good job showing like he's like kind of gross. Like
he like grabs her arm
and
like what a blind person would do if you're leading them. But
Right.
he's like a weird, creepy old man.
a weird creepy old man just like touching elbows. Like I wish that they had found an actor that looked more like him.
Okay, so
and did
here's
an
what I think was going.
impression.
Okay, so the impression of Giuliani wasn't great, but I think you cannot do a good impression of Giuliani in this serious show because it's going to come off as a joke.
I mean,
So you
like,
have to do like a very boring, mundane, normal person impression. So it's a bad impression, but it had to be. You can't take it seriously if they're doing
and then
leaking grease from the side of his head.
I mean, when he was that in 2002, he was still put together.
He had better grease.
Yeah, his grease remained in place.
In place.
I thought it seemed like a joke to me. It was like, who can we put in here that people know, but that
Right,
aren't
yeah.
involved? And
What
so like
side comic characters? But the problem is, Toby, this is real life.
it's real
was
life.
based
They were
exact- like this-
really involved.
Yeah.
Oh, like the James Comey where he's like, "Why are you going after the chicken people?"
Oh yeah, James Comey, famous for his season on Trump land,
2016 election, guys.
season. Yeah, he's in this, and he thought they were going after Purdue chicken. And I gotta look up
If that's true. Listen, I'll get to it in my book.
And
Hopefully,
wasn't James Comey the one that released the Hillary Clinton emails?
he's the one that's like 2 weeks before the election. We're investigating Hillary Clinton now for these emails that she sent, classified emails. Meanwhile, we're gonna find classified documents all over Trump's
We don't
home.
talk politics on the show.
No,
We don't
sorry,
talk
no politics.
No politics.
And
ever.
to be fair, classified documents were also found in Biden's home and Pence's
Pence.
home. So we're just like throwing classified things all over the
Guys,
place.
encrypt your hard drives. What are you doing? Encrypt your hard drive. Why are you leaving open class? I don't even have
Well,
my.
they took paper.
Right. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Scan it and encrypt the hard drive.
Also, leave work at home.
You could not get into this house right now and get photos off of our hard drives. They're encrypted. Of like our cat.
Good to know.
I have better security than the freaking vice president, former president, and current president.
Right. Well,
We don't talk about politics on this podcast.
We don't talk about politics, but I'm going to talk about just an important concept of just separating work and play. Just like you go home, you're done. You're done. I know you're
Right.
the
I
president.
don't like
you're done.
that. This would be the equivalent of me like taking all my students' IEPs
Right.
And just like leaving them out on my desk.
Just everywhere. Just
For
doing them
like
on
family
the lawn.
gatherings and like Thanksgiving. I just leave them out on the table.
Right. Just leave it
No.
at work. Leave it at work. Spend time with your family.
Unless you're trying to do something shady with it.
We don't talk about politics.
We don't talk about politics on this show. So yeah, I think all the actors are great. Good show, Toby.
It was such a, and it was one of those other shows where like I had started it. I already watched episode 1.
And I came in.
And then Gino appeared for episode 2 and then remained. Yeah. And I think that's a testament to the show because he'll watch 5 minutes of a show and then literally leave.
It doesn't look pretty. It's like a well shot show.
It is well shot. It's also
like a regular, boring, mundane kind of things that they're shooting. It's like it looks nice.
It also keeps your interest in the sense that it keeps time jumping, which can be confusing. And like we definitely rewound a few times to check what year it was happening in.
In the 90s, in the 2000s.
Right. So it's not linear, but the story still manages to be linear.
Yeah. And you really feel like, because as they're discovering new things and new things and new things, it feels like a murder mystery almost.
Right, because we keep uncovering new evidence for stuff and it builds up on it.
This graph is slightly off scale. And I'm like, I tell my students to don't do that all the time.
Let me tell you,
I'm showing that scene in class.
Yeah, our like science teacher brain went off. And,
all right, before we get to that part.
Sorry.
We got to talk about the worst thing about this show.
Oh, God.
Okay. I don't know if this was...
Pause. I want you guys to just yell out. What do you think
What do you think the worst part of this show was, aside from all the drugs?
Okay.
We'll wait. Should we give him like 20 minutes?
20 minutes is a long time.
Adora gives them like usually a couple seconds.
What do you think the worst part of the show was?
Say backpack.
Backpack.
Say wigs. It's the wigs.
Wigs, guys.
The wigs in this show are so distractingly bad on some of the characters. I don't know if this is because... Is it because it's shot in 4K and we're looking at it on a 4K screen and we have a 65-inch TV?
No, their hair didn't move.
Like, we got to look at this on a crappier TV.
No.
It's real bad. It's like worse than Marvel bad. Like some Marvel wigs are pretty bad. Like Doctor Strange in the last movie is like real bad. Like Loki's wigs have been pretty bad in some of the stuff.
No.
This is like some of it, especially like the sister.
Right, like
Richard Sackler's sister.
Yeah,
it seems like an SNL skit. Like, you know how bad the SNL wigs are?
They have to throw them on and then take them off.
And it's like a joke.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of these wigs feel like. And it really takes you out of it, where you're like, you know, there's 2 or 3 characters that just have their normal hair. And then there's just like, you know, freaking...
You had the brother whose hair was like one of the Three Stooges.
Yeah, right.
Like you could tell it's taped on.
You have like Kristen Wiig with like a freaking like ridiculous. It's not actually Kristen Wiig, but like the sister she looks like an SNL character.
She does. It honestly looked like they slapped the wig on. They took it looked like a budget drama on like Channel 11.
It would be a bad Halloween costume. Some of these wigs were so bad. And I guess it's because they had to make them look like the real life counterparts.
There's no way.
But like no one knows who these people are. You don't have to make them look accurate.
Do it with their own hair. Like Michael Keaton and his wisps on the top of his head. Perfect.
I don't think he was wearing a wig. I don't think the guy.
No, Will Poulter wasn't wearing a wig.
You know, I don't think Caitlin Dever was wearing a wig.
Nope.
But like some of the ones that were wearing, like, you know, Rosario Dawson, I think, was wearing a wig.
No.
Or maybe sometimes she was, but like some of the wigs
it didn't seem like it. It was like the women's wigs in particular and you could tell you were like, what?
Why?
It just didn't move.
Brush. Yeah, like, and I guess it's a testament to the show that this is the only thing we can point out because it's such a good show.
Yeah. Also, we're not that. Who are we?
I mean, we have better wigs than them. Look how good our wigs are. This is not my real hair. It's a wig. But like, it was distractingly bad. So it wasn't just like, oh, we have to come up with something bad. Like, let's pick the wigs. Like, because there's nothing else to talk about.
No,
trust me, if we could talk only positive things about a show, like, we would love to. But these wigs were pretty bad.
Pretty close to talking only positive about the show.
So like, yeah, if the only thing we can talk about are how bad the wigs are, and it looks like an SNL skit, then like, it's a good show.
So good. Everybody go watch it. We're not done though.
Okay, we got to talk about how, as science teachers, like, 1, why does this make you angry, or me angry? And 2, will you be using this as a way of teaching about the scientific method?
Oh my God, yes. Yes, 1,000,000,000%. Like, picking and choosing these clips to talk about why sample size is important.
Yep.
Talk about why your graph axes are important.
Oh my God. So you find out at one point that the FDA had approved some like ridiculous logarithmic scaled graph. And that's why like they used it to trick all these doctors. And I cannot tell you how many times I have to, when I'm teaching about graphing, go over how important it is to have a consistent scale. Otherwise your graph looks all messed up. So, like, as long as there's no curse words in the scene, like, I'm using it. Like, it's a great scene.
Right. Because, and like, what better way to see what we're saying than in action?
Like, regular scale,
right?
Not correct.
Right.
Regular scale, not correct. Or, like, it's a really hard kind of point to bring up, like, or it's hard to teach, like, what a good, valid experiment is, like, the validity. So, that scene where they're in front of the grand jury and they're interviewing that doctor that everyone keeps quoting.
Oh, peer review. But that's also...
And peer review. So you keep finding out that, like,
there's one
all
paper.
These pain studies are from one paper in, like, the New England Journal of Medicine from, like, 1980-something. And it turns out it's not even an experiment or a study. It was, like, a letter to the editor that some guy wrote.
5 sentences.
About, like, some data he had witnessed.
Observed
and collected from like pain patients in a hospital setting. And it was only 5 sentences long. And it became the foundation of all of the Purdue Pharma's science behind.
Right.
And it was like this de facto
thing.
Study that like was what we used about pain in the United States. And the guy who wrote it had absolutely no idea and was very confused as to what was going on and was like, yeah, it was just 5.
There's 5 sentences and it's just like something I saw.
I just collected some data. So it's like, that is not a valid study.
Right. So just like right there, just showing that and just having the kids talk about, so what's the problem here?
Everything is the problem. All of the things.
You get 100.
Like I could give that as a Regents question and my students would be like, yeah, that's not they have no control group. They have no like,
right.
It's not an experiment. There's no hypothesis. It's just like he looked at some data and said, oh, this is a fun thing.
Right. So that's like, it was just so, and I think it's important for people to actually see because like there's such, with something else we were talking about, there's such a distrust in science and like,
which
we can
to me,
see why.
Doesn't make sense in terms of like, science is just like a way of learning about stuff.
But
and
because,
like, because of bad people.
Right. Because of bad
who
people.
Don't do science, but then say they are doing science. It gives all of scientists a bad name.
And it sucked because like the guy who took it, right, was a dentist, right? So he did like, regardless, you got to go to med school. You have to understand science to be a dentist. So you know what you were doing. The Sackler family,
they knew what they were doing.
They were all psychiatrists, so they came from science. Richard Sackler was some kind of doctor, right? Like, it's doctors misusing this information because they know how to break the rules of the system.
So I can see where a lot of like the modern day anti-science stuff is coming from. If like, they're like, well, doctors told us that this was good and doctors told us, it's like those doctors were lying. Right. Like those doctors were not using the scientific method appropriately. They were taking advantage of you and they were lying. So like the Sackler family, allegedly, and Purdue Pharma, allegedly, and like they were using bad science, which then gives all scientists a bad name. So when like, for example, if like hypothetically,
what's this hypothetical situation?
If there was hypothetically like a coronavirus that came out,
some sort of
after
pandemic.
this, right? Because like the latest you see is 2019.
I don't think that's going to happen.
After that protest, maybe some sort of novel new coronavirus came out.
I don't think that's going to happen, but okay.
That was like extremely transmissible.
Yeah,
and had like a 1 or 2% death rate. If that happened in real life and caused a global pandemic, maybe people wouldn't trust a lot of the scientists anymore that tell them like, hey, wear a mask or like, hey, take a vaccine.
Hey, this vaccine will help you.
Right, because for the last 20 years, there's been a pharmaceutical company selling a safe drug and causing a drug epidemic and a heroin epidemic and an opioid epidemic. I can kind of see now why people in the South don't really trust like a lot of doctors and scientists.
Right.
And it's allegedly all the Purdue Pharma's fault. And it makes you, as like a science teacher, someone who whose job it is to like help students be critical thinkers, to help them understand the scientific method, you know, to even use the scientific method to like solve problems in their real life. It makes me like very upset that this happened. And the amount of damage it caused to the United States, aside from all the overdoses, aside from all of the dead people and all that stuff, just the damage it caused to like our collective intelligence. Because now people don't trust legitimate scientists who are doing like actual
Right. They don't
experiments.
essentially they don't trust evidence.
Right.
Right. So like you have all these people doing the work, putting in the legwork, giving you evidence, saying, look at all of this stuff I have that supports this hypothesis that this is helpful.
Right.
And people are like, I just don't believe it.
Right. And it's like, dude, like when someone says like, oh, I don't believe in science, right? It's like, that doesn't make any sense. Science, the scientific method is a tool. It's a way of organizing information.
It's not Santa.
Like reality is reality. The truth is the truth. And the scientific method helps us learn that truth and learn about that reality. So like you can't say I don't believe in reality. But when you do bad science like this, I mean, you can. I guess you can say
you can say I don't believe in reality, but you are going to be shoved in a corner real fast.
Yeah, or you're going to be elected president. We don't talk about politics on this podcast. It's like when people do bad things like this and they say, I'm a scientist and here's my evidence and it's fake evidence, it just gives everyone a bad name and it makes us all collectively dumber because of it. And it makes it worse.
Yep.
Not to mention all the people that died.
Right. Like that's a given. That's ridiculous because all of these people didn't have to. If Purdue changed the if they added so that doctor. So what was really cool is that they start off the book actually with, you know, that one doctor that like opens up that clinic. He like gets them to sign the petition. He's working with the nun.
He's trying to get them off.
So those are two real people.
Okay.
The nun is real.
And the doctor.
Sister Beth and the doctor is real. And he is one of the first doctors to bring this up as an alarming thing that's going on. And so he's reaching out to Purdue being like, please, like, we're not saying take it off the market. We know it's helpful, but don't give it to non-cancer patients and until you can find a way to include an addiction blocker. So like,
or a better, because they claim that the time release capsule was like,
right. Or like
better.
Figure out a better way to do that.
Yeah.
Because if all you have to do is leave something in your mouth for a little to get rid of the coating.
But Toby, if they put in blockers, narcotic blockers into the drug, then people won't buy it as much. That's the problem.
Shoot.
That's like telling the cigarettes to take nicotine out.
Right.
Or like Starbucks to take caffeine out of their coffee. Like,
I mean, but like.
oh, wait, can I point one thing out that I thought was interesting? And I don't know if this is on purpose. I feel like, and I don't know if this was on purpose, every time the characters were like talking about Purdue Pharma and how addictive the drug is, they were doing something else that was like very addictive. Like the lawyers always ate like fast food and junk food. People were always like drinking alcohol while they were talking about this stuff. I don't know if that was on purpose. I just thought it was kind of funny that like we're talking about this horribly addictive drug.
Right.
But you guys are doing all these other like terrible like junk food and alcohol and yada, yada, yada.
What a good observation.
I'm so deep.
So deep. We get deep
my
here again.
analysis is so good.
We analyze and we don't talk about politics.
Never
We're
talk
so
about
good
politics.
at this.
I also don't spoil things. Speaking of spoilers, I hope that the end of this is the Sacklers are in jail, but I know if I looked in real life, the answer is going to be no.
Right. I think the answer is no. I think they talked about it, right? They went bankrupt.
Yeah, or something.
The company went bankrupt.
The company, not the Sacklers.
But not the Sacklers themselves.
Probably a few of them probably live near us. Dick Sills.
Richard Sackler was born in Roslyn.
Yeah.
So from Long Island. Great.
Maybe they'll do like a Quentin Tarantino thing in like Inglourious Bastards where, you know, like Hitler in real life just killed himself, but in Inglourious Bastards they did like a different thing where they get to kill him.
We are calling on Quentin Tarantino.
Maybe, yes, they'll write like a new version for season 2 where the Sacklers go to prison.
See, I did see one thing that said season 2 was approved, and then I saw none of the other things.
It says miniseries on IMDb.
I don't think so.
And they wrapped it up pretty good.
I was very...
And no one's addicted to opioids anymore. It's not a problem.
Right, so we don't need to see what happened from 2006 to now.
Heroin's not really a thing. Fentanyl's not really a thing in real life. So we pretty much, it's all wrapped up. It's not like life expectancy for millennials is lower than our parents because of an opioid epidemic or anything like that. So like
it's wrapped up.
Wrapped up nice.
Yeah, I got a bow on
Voldemort's
it.
dead.
It honestly, I was watching, when we were watching the last episode, I was like, this doesn't feel wrapped up. And I bet that was also on purpose because it ended up like, it wasn't fulfilling, right? Like nobody went to jail. They just paid a lot of money. They had to do like probation or whatever. And it just, I'm sure that was the purpose. And I bet that's what I'm going to feel in the book too. But I just want more. I also want more of Michael Keaton just being a good person and being a doctor again. Like, I'll watch a whole season on him being a doctor again. Gino's looking it up.
Yeah, this is from the CDC, who, like, again, can't trust him.
Can't trust him.
The rate of so this is, again, it's all wrapped up. It's not happening anymore. So the rate of drug overdose deaths involving synthetic opioids other than methadone increased 22% from 17.8% in 2020 to 21.8% in 2021. So sequel? Part 2?
Part 2. I guess somebody has to do the legwork for it because this was based on a book written by a journalist.
So someone write, oops, all opiates. So thanks a lot, Purdue Pharma. Thanks for
just really what a downer.
It's still happening. It's 2023. Still a problem.
All right, let's return to our notes and see what we get to talk about next.
That's pretty much it. I think we got it.
That's not true. I have things.
No, we got all of it. Missing testimony. Yeah, you got it. We did everything. Yeah.
I don't believe you.
We don't have to do 50-minute episodes all the time, Tobes. I'm gonna die.
I don't think that.
High five. We did it.
Okay.
Happy birthday.
Man,
don't do drugs.
Yeah, I just feel like we could talk about this forever.
But we can't edit it forever, so
we can't.
Hit that intro, Tobes.
Extra.
Anything else you want to talk about?
I mean, just like the different evidence, but I guess we are.
Remember, the larger the sample size in your study, the more serious it will be taken by other doctors. And please make sure you repeat experiments and peer review.
Well, that's it. Thank you for listening to For Better or Worse. If you like what you heard today and don't feel depressed, want to know more, visit our website for betterorworse.buzzsprout.com and subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever you use, wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode.
Just hang out outside our window and you probably hear us live.
Right? That'll be fun. Please don't be outside our window. Like and subscribe to our show on YouTube. So you can see what we look like. Our cat wasn't visible today, probably because she was real upset.
Yeah, it's too sad.
What a downer. Sorry, everybody. To let us know what you think. Like, should we do another one of this? Did you enjoy it? Comment and only leave a 5-star review.
And only leave happy comments.
Only happy comments. Only happy comments will really help the show. I need chocolate, I think. I think this is
I hate all the chocolate.
Okay.
Oh, no, it's another addictive thing.
No, listen, you're going to have to go get us...
I have to... Well, okay, anyway.
Well,
I'm Gino.
See you next time when we review more movies
and TV. Bye.